First off, my name is Philip Johannesson, and I come from Oslo, Norway. I am what we call a business AI lead operating from the Nordic and the Baltic region, and I work for a company called SAP. And I'm here today to talk about one of the most transformative forces in businesses today, which is AI. But before I dive into that topic, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about where I'm from. And then I don't mean Oslo, Norway. I want to tell you a very short story about a company called SAP. So SAP is the world-leading provider in enterprise applications to companies of all sizes. But that's not everything that SAP is. SAP is also the coolest software company that you've never heard of. So did you know that more likely than not, you are interacting with an SAP-powered organization or an SAP system every single day? 87% of the world's transaction revenue is generated by SAP customers, and we serve these customers by uniting their most business-critical operation. Our overarching mission is to help the world run better and improve people's lives, but something changed in the last year. Our ambition, our strategy, something changed a little bit. So not only are we going to be the #1 enterprise applications company, we are going to be the #1 business AI company. And 27,000 of our customers are already benefiting from that promise. And you can see some familiar logos here. You can see we have Microsoft, Google, Coca-Cola, IBM, Bayern Munich. All of these customers, they're actively leveraging business AI directly into their solution. And just to tell you how incredible and amazing this story of AI has been, I want us to step a little back and look at how quickly AI has advanced. So what you're looking at here is the speed of which artificial intelligence has used to reach and compete with human-level accuracy on different benchmarks since the 90s. We are in the middle of a new industrial revolution, and AI can not only just compete with human-level accuracy, but it can actually beat human-level accuracy. So if you think back just a few years to when OpenAI released their ChatGPT model, generative AI took the world by storm. It was embedded in everybody's brain. It was at the tip of everybody's tongue. And we now believe that business AI will far exceed the impact that generic and general AI has had on your personal lives. And as AI continues to evolve and expand, so does the opportunities for innovation, for growth and efficiency. So there's definitely something happening. There's a shift in how value is going to be created and delivered within organizations in the years to come. And we believe that every business's best is made more attainable by leveraging business AI. And that shift I was talking about, that shift in value, it comes in the form of 3 different dimensions of disruptive technology. The first one is the generative experience. So that is the way that you interact with technology, with machines, with computers, in order to multiply your productivity and increase efficiency. This means that we can do a lot more tasks than we've ever done before. Then we have the aspect of quality. So in our organizations, in our systems, we have tons of user data. We have structured data, we have unstructured data, and what we can do now with generative AI is that we can communicate with that data. We can simply chat in natural language with our user data. I was at a conference last week, and one of the speakers said something super interesting. He said that the most popular coding language is no longer Java or Python or C#, it's English. So not only is this going to provide us more quality in our data, more accuracy, more precision, but it's going to optimize our decision making. The last wave is within speed and acceleration. So you already know, I don't have to tell you that generative AI can generate content for us. We are familiar with that, with generating text and images and videos. But what AI can also do now is that it can help you execute parts of a process, or it can do the entire process itself. This is going to allow us to finish our tasks a lot quicker so that we can amplify our impact elsewhere within our organization. So what we need to do is that we need to embed artificial intelligence directly into the software already using across these 3 dimensions. And I'm very much of a hands-on guy. I love to show hands-on examples, and I love to see them myself. So I brought with me some hands-on examples from what we do when we deploy these 3 dimensions into our solutions. So imagine that you had a ChatGPT directly for your business, specialized on your processes, your context, and all of your user data. So let me introduce you to Joule. So Joule is a co-pilot, and you probably heard the term before. And Joule is going to revolutionize the way you work with your business system. It has access to all of your user data. It knows your business processes, your context, and we like to call it the smartest colleague within your organization. So what we're going to see next is a very simple example that just displays the functionality of Joule within an SAP business system and how you can leverage business AI. Let's see here. Directly at your very fingertips as soon as you log into the system. So you log into your system, you can automatically access the Copilot. We can ask it very generic questions at first. For example, what is S/4HANA, which is SAP's cloud-based ERP system? In natural language, you're going to get a very specified response that is based on SAP documentation. But what if you want to ask something more specific? What if we want to ask, for example, what are these steps to create a workflow, which is a very SAP-specific process in this context? It's going to link you the steps, but it's also going to link you a source document, so you know where the data is coming from. There we have explainability, the audit trail, and you can directly navigate into the help documentation. Here you can learn everything you need to know about creating, managing, and using your workflow. So the question is no longer if your organization can benefit from AI. It's about how, and it's about where. And to answer that last question, where can AI benefit your organization? Well, it's everywhere. If it's from gaining new insights from existing data in the ERP or finance space, or creating job applications and product descriptions in HR, customer experience, predicting your stock levels, doing predictive maintenance in procurement supply chain, we are at a point in time where we can actually make non-coders pro-coders in IT. So what we have done and what we're doing now with artificial intelligence in SAP is that we are democratizing not only business AI, let me see here, but we're also democratizing access to insights. That means that every single end user from executive level to the ones who work in the system every single day, they all have the same access to groundbreaking technology. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about what lies behind that technology as well. But here's another hands-on example. Let's see if I didn't skip that. Yes. So if we want to, for example, analyze our project's profitability, look into some finance data. With a click of a button, we can analyze exactly what's going on within our organization. You will get a summary in natural language, and we can actually also propose action. So the system sees correlation between what is going on and where the desired state to be is. We can then ask for where the urgency is the greatest, for example. So where is the top 3 projects that we need to look into? Then you get your overall planned margin and the margin for each project. If we then want to compare these projects to every project ongoing in our organization and gain more insights to how we're doing directly with natural language, we can do that in the system. And for collaboration reasons, now we have a lot of information here. If we want to summarize this to one report, natural language once again, and we can then share this directly with anyone in an organization. But it's not a given that this works in an enterprise setting. As you all know, there are a lot of limitations when using artificial intelligence, especially then in an enterprise context. So how many times have you, for example, used an AI solution in your personal life where you ask for, or you request some information and it tells you, I cannot answer this query because my knowledge base only goes to 2021 or 2022. So that's the limitation of a cutoff date. And that means that real-time insight, it doesn't exist. Then we have the issue of hallucination. So in an effort to provide an answer to you, the AI solution might even provide information that is factually wrong. That does not work in an enterprise context because everything we do, someone has to be held accountable for it. And my favorite limitation is when you ask something specific to an AI solution, it probably has no idea what's going on. It doesn't understand where you're coming from. It doesn't understand the environment you're working in. It doesn't have that business context. And that is exactly what the last limitation is, context. Business context, process context, enterprise context, it's everything that makes it applicable for businesses. And I'm just going to show you why context is so important. I love my dad is a beautiful message, but I'm not quite sure that I want it engraved to the side of my car. So I'm going to show you how we do it at SAP, how we add business context with AI to your specific needs. So business AI at SAP is going to be the only artificial intelligence solution that is going to be pre-grounded in SAP data. And it starts off with a business user asking a business-related question. And that could be, for example, can I use my private car for a business trip? So the request comes from a user. Let's take Joule, our co-pilot, for an example here. What Joule does next is that it digs down into its grounded information. So it starts off with the scenario catalog. Where is this request coming from? Is it coming from an HR solution, a procurement solution, ERP, finance, and so on? Then we have the knowledge catalog. So this is where it looks into, for example, the SAP help documentation, which is specifically trained on. But it's also where it looks into your specific customer documents, where, for example, your sustainability reports, your annual reports, your HR policy documents, and so on. And we also know that everyone in your organization shouldn't access all data. So we have user context, access-based user controls, meaning that the system knows what kind of user and what kind of roles the user has, which means that we can only provide a set amount of data. What we can also do with business AI is that we can live query up SAP business systems, meaning that we can get that real-time information to what is going on exactly now. So now we have a lot of information. We combine this and we feed it to an LLM, a large language model, and we use the large language models you already know and use today. That could be Gemini from Google, it could be Bedrock from AWS, it could be OpenAI, ChatGPT. We have partnered up with 30 different foundation models, meaning that the technology that we use to develop our solution is also available for you to develop your own. So we feed relevant extracts of the combined information to the LLM, and it's going to respond in an enriched and grounded way. And that could be, for example, you may seek reimbursement of a fixed amount per mile driven, and it's also going to link the source document, which is then going to be your local HR policy document. Directly from the business applications as well, so say your ERP system embedded in a process or an application, we can leverage LLMs as a part of content creation. So imagine if you were to launch a new product or you want to create a new position. Directly from the application, you can leverage LLMs so you don't have to do that manual labor and you can amplify your impact elsewhere. This is how we add context. So now I was showing you Joule, I was showing you business AI, but it doesn't really get super complex until we make our systems more agentic. So even though this is fairly new, this is already becoming yesterday's news. Agents is the future in complexity when it comes to enterprise systems. And just to explain very short in an analogy what agents are, imagine if you had an orchestra with musicians, they're playing their instruments, they're highly trained on that specific instrument. Each and every one of those musicians, that's an agent. And then we have the conductor who's controlling the flow, who's controlling the rhythm, that's our co-pilot. And then we have the composer, the ones who writes the symphony, who makes sure that we write beautiful melody. That's you, the end users, the organizations. So Joule will come with agents, and that will come across the portfolio in every single business function that is relevant for your critical operations. And I have an example to show you from the first agent that we are going to release now, just to show you the power of what agents can actually do. So the agent I'm going to show you is a collection agent, meaning that it's going to monitor transaction, it's going to look for inconsistencies and disputes when it comes to customer invoices and late payments. So we log into our system, and we're met with an overview of different agents for different business processes. We have a procurement agent, a sales agent, supply chain, HR, and so on and so on. Once we click on our agent, we get our business AI capabilities. And all we have to do, we can monitor the usage. We can just activate this, go to manage, and assign it to one of our business users. So we're going to assign it to a collection manager called William. And while William is sleeping, the agent is working. So the next day when William logs into the system, he gets a full report of the most pressured inconsistencies and disputes in a prioritization list. If he clicks on one of them, he can now solve this directly in his Copilot. So he gains more information, he gets a sentiment analysis. Is this a negative loaded or a positive loaded case? And what seems to be the issue is that one of our customers is missing items from their original delivery, and they're therefore not going to pay the invoice. Automatically, our Copilot prompts us with an action to check our delivery note to see whether or not these items were included, and they were not. So we, in natural language, ask Joule to check whether or not these items were included in the first sales order. Joule's automatically confirm this, it checks with the system, and we can solve the case by replying with a corrected invoice and also an AI-generated email explaining and apologizing for the trouble. So just to show you a little bit about where we are at as of now, what has happened in just a year since we started doing business AI, because it's moving so fast, it's almost impossible to keep track. We are launching use cases by the hundreds, and we partnered up with the biggest players within the AI space. And as I mentioned, these models, they go into developing our own AI solutions and applications. But we also democratize it by giving you the same access. So you can now customize your own AI applications. You can build your own AI solutions directly from our platform. Our Copilot is a cross-Copilot solutions, means that it can tap into every business systems that you have with business process context, and it also supports up to 80% of all of the common tasks that is done in a business system. So it's really revolutionizing where things are going. And as I mentioned, our overarching goal is to help the world run better and improve people's lives. And there's undeniably no doubt in my mind that business AI is at the very forefront of completing this mission.